In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we shall continue to share about Joshua chapter 3 because I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that even I have 5 more classes, I still just biosecurity so that I can make sure that I fulfill my promise that will go beyond chapter 3. So this morning we touch upon Joshua chapter 3, which is a moment, a very iconic thing, a very important moment that finally that they are making a breakthrough. They were meant to be in the land of Canaan 38 years ago. So you know that after they came out of Egypt, that they could go from Egypt and go straight up to the land of Canaan. And it's the distance from Egypt to Canaan, if you walk, is only about, depends on how fast you walk. It goes only about less than 10 days. You'll be there within. That's why they were not really prepared for the food, right? They figure it's not that far, so they got some food from the Egyptian, and then they set out on the journey. They figure that in a week or two, they will be on the new land, their land. A journey of 40 years were never in their plan, or it was never in their idea. So, but as we know that the Bible told us that although it was only a 10 days journey, but they were unable to go. Why? Because they were too weak. Because they had been slaves for more than 400 years. They were not ready, not physically, not mentally, not in terms of organization, nothing. They were just mob. Okay? They had been slaves for 400 plus years. They were not ready to deal with the Philistine. So God knows. Then God led them toward the opposite direction. Canaan is northeast, but God led them southeast. God led them to a different direction, and until that they were able to. They were, of course, there were different stories. That they passed through Mara, they passed through Elim. So eventually they settled down. Okay, they settled down, and over there the Lord organized them, gave them structure, set up their organization leaders, and the Lord taught them the decree. They received the rules and regulation. They were organized into a strong community. Then the Lord pull them out and continue going north. And that took 2 years. 2 years. So after 2 years of preparation, after 2 years of training, now the Lord brought them to the bank of Jordan River to acquire the promised land. But as we all know, that they suffer a bitter defeat. They were defeated not by the Canaanite. They were defeated by themselves. Moses sent out the 12 spies. And when they came back, that 10 of them brought terrible news. They told the people that the people were giant. We were like the grasshopper. They would eat us alive. We would never be able to survive on this land. And because of the news that were brought back, So the Bible told us that their heart were melted. They were weeping loudly, and they keep on saying, "We can't go, we can't go. Why don't we kill Moses?" They want to kill Moses. They say, "Let's just, you know what? Let's get rid of Moses, find a new leader that will take us back to Egypt." And the Lord was so angry. The Lord was so angry with them. So you know what? They were given the opportunity to set their foot on the new land, the promised land, the land of that flow with milk and honey. They were given that opportunity. But unfortunately, they were unable to take a hold of opportunity. So after that, the Lord guided to make a detour and circle in the desert for 38 years. We all know the story. Did you realize, if you pay attention in the book of Numbers, did you realize that 38 years, that's a long time, right? Long time. That 38 years of circling in the desert, the Bible record almost zero. Nothing. There were only very, very little things talk about that 38 years. Mostly empty because meaningless. The only thing it says is that until that rebellious generation passed, because they are not important anymore. When they rebel against God, then that 38 years is only a journey of vanity. The Bible did not say much about that 38 years. Only say, now the time has been fulfilled. The younger generation grew up. The Lord said, now aiming for the Jordan River. Go. So did you see that the journey could be 10 days if you are strong enough? Imagine if they were as strong, as powerful as in David's dynasty. If they want to go to the land of Canaan, and David say to his mighty men of valor, and say, "Yo, let's go." And then you see the Philistine in the way. You know what David will say? David will say to the Philistine, "I will count to 5, 4, 3. You don't move, you out." If you are powerful enough, you can be in the promised land in 10 days. But if not, the Lord train you, the Lord prepare you in 2 years. Receive education, receive training, receive cultivation. You build yourself up, and the Lord say, "Let's go." You are meant to inherit the land. But then, it could be 10 days. It could be 2 years. But for some of us, it could be 40 years. You choose. But you just have to remember, the Bible record the 2 years because those are meaningful. The training, how they were built, the way, the rule, the Mosaic law, all those are given. So that 2 years is meaningful in the eyes of the Lord. That 38 years, almost nothing to be remembered, because that's only a circle of little faith. The circle of the little faith. So once again, after a total of 40 years in the new generation that grew up, except Joshua and Caleb, only Joshua and Caleb that were the older generation, that were above 20 when they came out from Egypt. So only Joshua and Caleb, everyone else wiped out. The younger generation circling in the desert for 38 years. Now, finally, the voice of the Lord say to them, Now go. I give you one more chance. One more chance. And this time, different than their forefather. Learn from the mistake, knowing the sorrowful history. Once again, the moment they were by the Jordan River again. What the, that moment, when they were able to by the Jordan River at the bank and remember what happened to their forefather 38 years ago. It was very, I guess it's very emotional for them. Okay? The Lord said, once again, we are here. Now, what says you? What you going to do about it? Are you going to learn from your forefather? Or are you ready to receive and occupy the promise? So for them, it's very emotional. But in order to cross Jordan River, that in chapter 3, as we mentioned in the morning, there are a few things that the people must do. You must do. You must do. Number 1, we mentioned you must get out of your comfort zone. That Joshua sent out the announcement, say to all the people, get out of your tent. The tent is your house. The tent is where all your belonging stays. That's your family life. That's your leisure life. That's your comfortable life. That's the environment that you enjoy. Soothing. But the first command for you to come out from the first command for you to cross Jordan River, come out. Go beyond. Able to defeat your laziness, able to defeat your procrastination, able to defeat your fear, just like what we had in the previous section about the sermonizing. For you, the first year, let me tell you, you also need to do it. Everybody needs to do it. Everyone needs to do in order to graduate. No exception. Even you are very much afraid. Okay? You say, oh, but you know what? I have stage fright. I can. You can. You can. Oh, let me rephrase it. You have to. For me, you have to and you can is the same thing. You have to. No way out. You pray to the Lord and make it possible. That's what they mean by you can. You can. I'm not giving you any room to back out. I mean, of course, you can say that, oh, then I am not coming back. That's on you. I have no say in that. I have no say in that. But you know what? The first step of seeing the power of the Lord, everything began with that I dare. I will. Even I am terrified, but I will because God asked me to. So number 1, get out of your comfort zone in order to witness the power of the Lord. That's number 1. Number 2, in verse, if we go to chapter 3, in here says in verse 4, in verse 3, yeah. In verse 3, it says that when you see, they commend the people saying, when you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God with the Levitical priest carrying it, then you shall set out from your place and go after it. What are you going after, people? Now you come out from your comfort zone. You want to strive and put in more effort. But what are you aiming after? What is your goal? What is your goal? Oh yeah, I try hard to stay up to study for my exam, getting a better grade. I send out 1,000 resumes so that I can land on the good job and get a high pay. You know what? People put effort for the goal that they want to reach. But what is your goal? For you to come out from the comfort zone. Okay? Once you come out from your comfort zone, extra effort. Okay, extra effort. But where do you place your extra effort? You could place that for your academic achievement. You could place the extra effort on your career path. You can place your extra effort, I don't know, upon Minecraft. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. That thing is so easy. I can't. I see people play that. I just feel like too. Yeah, it's just like up, down, left, right. Yeah, in every angle. So just like yeah. So you know what? I don't know why you put your extra effort. That's cool. You know what? You can come out of comfort zone, but do something totally unrelated to your faith. But in here, they say, get out of your house. Come out, come out, come out, come out. But then what do? He said that, did you see? Do you see where the Ark of Covenant is? That was carried by Levitical priests. If you see it, you need to follow it. You need to see where the Ark of the Covenant is, and you have to follow it. That's how you cross the Jordan River. People. We are talking about the people. So number one, come out of your comfort zone. Number two, you must find the Ark of the Covenant, and you must follow the covenant, the Ark of the Covenant, in order to achieve a higher and greater purpose. Number three, if you go to verse 5. Verse 5. Then Joshua said to the people, consecrate yourself, for tomorrow the Lord will do miracle among you. You want to see miracle, right? Yeah, I want to see vision. I want miracle. I want sign. I want this. I want that. You know, if you want to see the amazing work of the Lord in your life, Joshua said, consecrate yourself, for tomorrow the Lord will do great things for you. If you do not consecrate yourself, the Lord will not do great things for you. So simple. It's such a simple formula that the Bible stated very straightforward. You sanctify yourself. God do great things for you. Like that. So if you want to see the great thing from the Lord in your life, if you want to see how God do amazing things, lead you to the higher ground and allow you to experience the amazing of your faith, you need to sanctify yourself. You need to sanctify. That's the formula. That's the formula. So we need to purify ourselves in order to see the great thing. This is for the people. So far, we are talking about the people. So you, the Israelites, come out from the comfort zone, following the Ark of Covenant, and prepare yourself, sanctify yourself. Then you shall see how God does wonder for you in your life. That's for the people. That's for the people. But then continue. Now there is a higher. Depends on you. Because now Joshua went one step higher. Not just to the people. Now he was speaking to you, the priests. You, the priests. So young brothers and sisters, we have a higher expectation on every one of you. Not just any of the Israel, but you are chosen to be the Levitical priests. That was honored and glorious in this amazing moment. You were deemed valued by the Lord, able to be part of the miracle. For the regular Israel, they get to see the miracle. For the priests, they are the one that contribute or participate in the miracle. remember what we say in the class? Some can only be the hearer of the amazing work of God. Some only hear, oh, testimony, testimony, testimony. Some are only hearing the story. Some are creating the story. Some are learning from the legend. Some are legend itself by choice. If you are the Israelite, oh, it's good enough, it's good enough, come on, I'm following. If you are only aiming for the minimum, maybe you get to, oh, wow, I saw it. But when you demand yourself to be, I shall be the Levitical priest, then you are part of the legend. You are part of the legend. But how? How do you become the legend? How do you become included in such a historical moment? How? Let's go back. Let's go back to chapter 3. Chapter 3, verse 6. Verse 6. And Joshua spoke to the priests, saying, take up the ark of the covenant and cross over ahead of the people. So they took up the ark of the covenant and went ahead of the people. This is the first requirement. Ark of the covenant is heavy. It's heavy. That thing is pretty heavy. And they have to carry by the shoulder. They have to carry by the shoulder. Take on the weight, willing to bear the burden. We said it, we repeat it, we constantly mentioned it. No suffering, no glory. Okay, that's how it works. That's how it works. If you say, oh, I want the priestly glory, but I would never put into effort, you can continue to dream. You can, 梦里什么都有嘛, that anything is possible in your dream, okay? But dream is just a dream. If you say, oh, I want this, I want that, but you will never try, and that you never put in any effort, good luck, continue to dream, because you are not going anywhere. In order for you to be part of the miracle, to be included, involved in the story of the legend, number one, be the one that carry the load. Right? We talk about going to Africa. You know that those are self-paid. Africa, as a volunteer, you are self-paid. Self-paid. You have to pay that yourself. Of course, there's an easy way out for you guys. Let me give you a shortcut. If you join TTP, then we will pay for you. But the thing is, we don't ask you if you want to go or not. Okay, because we own you then. All right. So, yeah, we send you, we will let you know when you can come back. Yeah. So, you know what? You have to pay for it. All right, you have to pay for it, financial burden. And you have to be ready to suffer because over there, everything is different. Not convenient, not comfortable. That's how it is. Over there, the food, you don't get to choose. Yeah. You over here, you're like, oh, I don't like spicy food. That's the only thing you have. I mean, you have a choice. You can go without it. You're like, fine, I will just, be on the diet. Yeah, that's my choice. But you don't get to pick and select. And usually they will not cater to your preference because it is what it is. Like they give you what they have. All right. So if you are unwilling to deal with any of those, mosquitoes, flies, you don't want to deal with the limitation of the choice of food, you don't like to walk, you don't like the sun, you don't like the moon, you don't like, I don't know, you don't like, nowadays you don't like anything, If you only like your comfort zone, you are unwilling to shoulder the Ark of the Covenant for the Lord. I'm sorry, please stay back. This is not for you. This is not. Stay back. You get to see it, but you will never be part of it. And number 2, it says that now you carry the Ark of the Covenant. You shoulder the Lord, you shoulder the load, the glory of the Almighty God. But then what is next? You need to go ahead before all the Israelites. Examples. That's why we put in this NYTS that we place first year, the youngest, with the fourth year who are graduating, plus the PMVP who are just older. But what I'm saying is, they've been through what you have. They've been through. A few years ago, they were also the first year, and by looking up to the fourth year, by admiring the PMVP, set up the dream. One day I shall be like them. That's what brought them to where they are today, and they are here serving the same purpose. For the younger, for the first year, to see that, yes, you can keep on coming back. Yes, you can be like them. You can learn, you can be trained, and you can set a heart for the Lord. That's what PMVP is about. PMVP is not about, study something mysterious and profound. The secret knowledge that nobody knows. That's not PMVP. They stand for what? Pioneering, missionary, volunteer programs. Right? Pioneering is the location. Missionary is the purpose. Volunteer is we are not paying for that. Yeah. And program is program. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They are here to show you life deserves a higher goal. That's why they are here. Of course, not everybody can go to Africa. Not everybody will go to Argentina, Dominican Republic. But they are here to show you they have a dream for the Lord. And you should learn from them. That's the sole purpose that they are here. To show you that we can dream for the Lord. So that's why they are standing or they are walking ahead of you. Just like the older generation also walk ahead of them. Okay? Perhaps I guess when they were younger in NYTS, perhaps Preacher Chad, TTP student Brother Joseph, or I don't know, Preacher Tony is maybe not. Yeah, maybe somewhere when the PMBP, when they were at your age, perhaps the ministers, the workers, the TPPs, they were in their PMVP. They show the younger generation you can dream for the Lord. You can have a higher goal and you can make a differences. So today, for those who walk ahead of them, show them who they could have been. And they are here today also to walk ahead of you, to show you who you could have been in the future. It's a succession. It's a succession. And let me tell you, some of the preachers, they were my SSC students. They were my students, and later as they grew, perhaps they were the counselors, and some of them are now my co-workers. It is the greatest thing that you see a generation after generation, more and more youth, they step up and say that, here I am, send me. That's the greatest moment. When you see that someone who could have choose a different path, easier path, comfortable path, but they say to the older generation, you can pass down the baton, for we will we will raise the banner of the Lord tall and proud. That's the greatest feeling. That's the greatest feeling. Now, when my generation slowly fade away, I'm turning 50. My generation slowly fade away, and I see, perhaps maybe I dare not to say, maybe the older generation, when they see us come out, they might feel the same, that the banner of the Lord is exalted, high, and glorious. And I am seeing that in the younger generation. That's called walking ahead. You walk before, not so that you get to show off. You don't, because you are carrying a very heavy Ark of the Covenant. You might be sweating, you might be panting, you might staggering, but you are carrying it's not like looking flashy, making myself looking good. No, they don't look very well at that time, for they are walking on the bank, the muddy land, with a lot of current, strong pushing back. They don't look good, but they are glorious. It's not about making yourself looking good. Is that you raise the banner for the Lord tall and high, that the following generation, that they get to follow your footsteps. That's the glory. That's the glory. So then here, that they were told, carry the ark, walk ahead. Not only that, the Lord said to them, if you look at in verse 8. In verse 8, it says that, so you shall command the priests who are carrying the Ark of the Covenant, saying, when you come to the edge of the water of the Jordan, you shall stand still. By the bank? No, in the river. In the river. But we also read earlier, if we look at in verse 15, for the Jordan overflowed all its bank all the day of the harvest. So what are we talking about? They were told, hey, okay, you need to take one for the team. And then the priest was like, carry the heavy ark of the covenant. They were like staggering already. And then the Lord said, oh, no, not here. Go into the Jordan River. And then in verse 15 said, it was flooding. Like the water washed through the bank. Strong water. Current pushing. And if you were the priest, you're like, no, thank you. I don't think so. People die if they get carried away by the river. People could die if they get carried away by the current. They were having something heavy load. So it's tough enough to walk on the muddy ground. Now the Lord say, no, not here. You walk to the bank, but you step into the river. Number 3. Did you realize that there are 2 major recording about crossing the big water, crossing the big river? 40 years ago, they walked through the dry ground, the Red Sea. 40 years later, they need to cross Jordan River. But there's one thing very different. 40 years ago, they don't need to do anything. The Lord did everything for them. Right? By the Red Sea, what did they do? Nothing. They were crying, Egyptian army, we're going to die here. Who is going? But they were like just crying, complaining, angry. Say, Moses, you are getting us killed. So it's only complaint. 40 years ago, God said nothing about it. Why? Because they were baby. They were infant. So God understood they were weak. That's why God did everything for them. 40 years ago, the people did nothing. God said, Moses, the staff, using the staff of God, and then the Red Sea parted. They walk on the dry ground. 40 years ago, they did nothing. But 40 years later is different. The Lord said, no, the Lord say you get into the water first. You take the initiative. You take the first step. This is not the moment to pray, okay? This is not when you, oh yeah, but the water is strong. I am very terrified. You know what? Let me pray for Lord. Maybe that I can be spared. You can pray by the bank all you want. Nothing will ever happen to you. As you grow older in your spirituality, then God raised the bar with higher expectation. 40 years ago, you were a baby, so God did everything for them. 40 years later, God trained you, mold you, prepare you. And then God only asks you one thing. You try. You take the first step. You know, in fact, God said, you get into the river and you stand in there. Right? We just read that, right? But that's not what happened. That's so when you read Bible, you have to read the minute, you have to read the detail. The command of the Lord is you go into the water and you stand still and see how the God Almighty will work for you. That was the original instruction. But if you pay attention, in verse 15, it says that when the priests, those who carried the ark, came up to Jordan, when they step in, NKJV say when they dip, they use the word dip, dipping. Only the very toe. He said that the moment when they dip their feet into the river parted. Okay. The Lord asked them, you getting there, you stand still. But the reality is, God showed mercy. The moment when maybe their feet were like shaking. Oh, but you know what? I'm afraid, but God told me to do it. The moment when the toe touched the water, God showed miracle already. But God is only waiting for you to gather your courage and say to yourself that for the sake of God, I will do it. Even I'm afraid. That's what God wants. And you will see how God provides even beyond your imagination when you put Him first. So, young brothers and sisters, do you want to see the Jordan River parted in your life? Do you want to experience how God, our Almighty God, can work for you in your life? Do you want your life to be vivid? Allow your faith to be real? The Lord is waiting for you. He said, just trust me. Dip your feet into the water. I got the rest. But I need you to take the first step. So when the priest touched the water, it was parted. And then the Israelites, they were able to walk through the dry ground and begin the journey of victory, the journey of conquering, the journey of fulfilling the promise of the Lord. But it all begins with trust me. Trust the Lord. Let's all come to the front to pray.